Welcome to Form 1 Mathematics DLP Chapter 1 Rational Numbers 1.5 Rational Numbers. Okay, so in this part of the lesson, you are going to learn how to recognize rational numbers, and then describe what is rational numbers, and then we are going to perform computation that involve basic arithmetic operation of rational numbers. Shall we start? Okay, what is rational numbers? Simply put, it is a numbers that can be written in fractional form. Okay, we are going to carry out some simple activities for you to understand more. Get ready with your calculator. Alright, so we are going to convert the following numbers, which is in the yellow box, okay, into a fractional form. Okay, into a fractional form. So for your calculator, I'll advise that you're going to use this as conversion. Okay, so let's do the first one, which is 0.33. Alright, so on your calculator, you're going to insert, like normal, 0.33 and then the equal sign, followed by, hang on, let me get my laser. Okay, followed by this button. Okay, so if my calculator is correct, you should be able to get this from your calculator. Alright, 33 over 100. Okay. Number 2, the second number we don't need to convert as it is a fractional number. Okay, it's a fraction. And then negative 1, 4 over 5 is also a fractional form, but we want to change them into improper fraction. Okay, do you still remember how to change? Alright. So it's 1 multiply 5 and then plus with 4. So you should be able to get 9 over 4. Negative 9 over 4. And then 4 over 0. Okay, 4 over 0. Do you remember anything that is over 0 is not considered as fraction? Okay, it's not considered as fraction at all. Okay, let me go back to the part where we're supposed to learn about fraction. Okay, so denominator cannot be 0. Okay, denominator cannot be 0. Okay, never mind. Okay, so if you have your calculator, 4 divided with 0, it will show up as a math error in your calculator. Okay, so this one is not a fraction numbers. Okay, it's not a fraction number. Alright, negative 6. Okay, so negative 6 actually can be written as negative 6 over 1. Okay, whatever is divided by 1, we will get back that number. Okay, and then the next number that we want to see whether 5.36 can be written as a fractional number or not. Okay, you're going to do the same process as you did with 0.33. Insert 5.36 equal signs, and then you press this fraction button. Alright, so on your calculator you should be able to see 5, 9, and then 25. Okay, something like this. So in order for us to get an improper fraction, you will need to press shift and then press this fraction button again. So you should be able to get 134 over 25. Okay, that means I can convert 5.36 as a decimal number into a fractional form, which is 124 over 25. So most of the numbers here can be converted into fractional form. However, there is only one number that we cannot convert because, okay, for in fraction our denominator cannot be 0, so that one is not a fraction. So it means here, as you can see, that most of the numbers can be written as a fractional form. However, there are some numbers that cannot be written in ratio or fractional form. So this number is called irrational numbers. For example, pi. Okay, for now, okay, you are going to learn pi soon when we go into the area of circles and volume, right? So pi is used for those that requires circle. So there are two values of pi. One is the one that you see here, that is ultimately a very long number decimal. Another one, popular approximation, is 22/7, which also give you almost the same, but if you notice that the moment it starts here, okay, the number starts to be different. It's just a close approximation. Alright, so as you can see here, pi unable to be written as a fractional numbers. Okay, it is called as irrational numbers. So another thing is that you would want to know if, okay, if the decimal goes on forever, I mean you got this long of a number, then the number are not repeating itself. So when the number is not repeating itself in the decimal, so it is a number that is called irrational numbers. So like 1/3, the decimal form is 0.33333, which the unending of threes. Okay, so if you see here that the 3 is repeating itself throughout the decimal, so this number we call them as rational number, as I can write them as 1/3. But in pi, because those numbers are not repeating, so those numbers are irrational numbers. Those are clues number 2. Okay, so those are the difference between the rational and irrational numbers. Okay, so for conclusion, right, numbers that can be written in fractional form, p/q, whereby p and q are integers, and remember, q cannot be 0. Right, so q is actually a denominator, and denominator cannot be 0. The other one that we saw just now was the value of pi, and the value of pi is one example of irrational numbers. Okay, now that we know that what is rational numbers, we're going to perform computation involving rational numbers. Okay, so with any calculation, of course, stand by with your calculator and remember this rule. Okay, BODMAS. So the rule of BODMAS, that anything inside a bracket must be done first. Okay, and then divide or multiply comes second. Finally is either addition or subtraction. Right? So let's look at example 1. Even though we have this bracket, remember this bracket is a negative number. Okay, so that we can be clear that there are negative numbers there. So since there are non-bracket, the next one we see whether we have divide or multiply. So I did see that we have one divide here, multiply. So we are going to do that one first. So we are going to multiply 1/2 with -2 3/5. Okay, so since we are not going to do anything towards 0.6, so let's write that one down first. -0.6 minus with, okay, so get your calculator ready. Okay, so 1/2 multiply with -2 3/5. Alright, you should be able to get negative 13 over 10. So if you do not know how to change this one, okay, use the function shift and then press the fraction button again. Okay, so this one. Alright, next, remember that negative and negative, we are going to get positive, which is negative 0.6 now become positive, and then 13 over 10. Okay, so next we are going to do the next one, which is negative 0.6, okay, plus with fraction of 13 over 10. So in the end you are going to get 0.7. Now we are learning rational numbers, means that the numbers can be written in fractional form. So we're going to change 0.7 to a fraction. Okay, so you can use shift and then you press that fraction button again, which gives you 7 over 10. Right? So this is how we do basic computation with involving rational numbers. Let's see another example. Okay, so we got this example. Let's remember the board mass. Okay, so we start with bracket. So there are two brackets here, and inside each bracket we have operation to be done. So we're going to do one by one. I'm going to do the one at the front first. Let me highlight that. Okay. So we are going to get negative 21 over 25 plus with 0.5. Alright. So it should give you negative 0.34. Okay, the next one we are going to do is the one that is inside the second bracket. Okay, which is 1 over 2, okay, minus with 1.2. Okay, so and this one will give you a negative 0.7. Okay, so we continue as usual. So negative 0.34 divide with negative 0.7. Okay, so negative divide with negative, we still remember it should be get positive. So there is no need for you to write a positive in front, and you'll be getting a very long number. Okay, so what you're going to do is, remember this is a rational numbers, so we're going to write the final answer in fraction. So what you're going to do is, just like what you have learned previously, press the button shift and then press this fraction button. So it should give you 17 over 35, which is easier to write compared to the answer that was in decimals. Okay, let's see another example. Example 3. Alright, so I'm going to write again board mass. So we got negative 2.25 divided with 1 over 6 minus with a bracket of negative 1, 3 over 5 multiply with 0.2. Now this bracket is indication of it is a negative number, so there is no bracket involved. The next one is divide or multiply. So divide or multiply, the first one that I come across is divide. So I'm going to do this one first. Alright, so negative 2.25 divide with 1 over 6. Okay, so you're going to get negative 13.5, and then minus, you're going to copy that one down first. Okay, the one that we have not been doing, you need to copy down. So the next one we're going to see, let's check if there is any divide or multiply. So along here I still see that I have a multiply. Right, so I'm going to multiply this one. Negative 1, 3 over 4. Okay, negative 1, 3 over 5. I'm sorry. Okay, multiply with 0.2. Okay, so I have not done any calculation for that, so it's negative 13.5 minus with, so negative multiply positive, you are going to get negative, and you should be able to get 0.32. Okay, so remember, if there's negative outside the bracket means negative multiply negative, you should get positive. So negative 13.5 plus 0.32. Okay, so you're going to do that calculation, which is negative 13.5 plus with 0.32. Okay, so you're going to get negative 13.18. So remember, we are learning rational numbers, so I'm going to write the final answer in fraction. So negative 659 over 50. Okay, you can leave your answer as this. Right, so now that we have come to the end of the lesson, so these are the following exercise that you can do. You can try on your own from your textbook. Right? So make sure you try them out, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Stay safe.